Behind these Himalayas lies the Tibetan and Chinese plateau, through which this part of Himalaya is considered as a different habitat. The biodiversity in that land is actually Tibetan wolf, Tibetan gazelle, Tibetan argali, snow leopard, then several cats. So this is one kind of habitat India has got. Another part is Himalayan foothills and forest. So we most of us have been to the Jim Corbett National Park, Pangot Sattal, northeast side. We can see amazing biodiversity in this area, especially bird watchers visiting northeast side. Twitchers who are visiting this side get to see plenty of birds. Although mammals activity in that area is not that easy to spot an animal. Another region or a habitat which India has got is the desert, or we can call it as a arid or semi-arid land, which is available from Gujarat to Rajasthan, LRKG, a Little Run of Kutch, Greater Run of Kutch, Thar Desert, some part of Dhong Forest. Also, along with that, we have a big protection to the Indian wildlife under the tiger umbrella. All the forest species are getting covered under tiger parks. Being a national animal, all the species getting all the species of forest lies in that area, getting a good cover under tiger umbrella. It's a very common that people have visited Tadoba, Bandhavgarh, Ranathambore. Again, we have some biodiversity. We have one biodiversity hotspot, Western Ghats. Along with Western Ghats and Eastern Ghat, we have one good coastal line, which also includes coastal birds and some mangroves part. So throughout this thing, just one thing is missing, that is Deccan Plateau. It is not covered under a good sanctuary or kind of reserve. So most of the things in Deccan Plateau are getting ignored. So why like this? Because it's not giving government good tourism. First, tiger parks, bird parks like Ranganthittu, Kevladev, tourism is well established. In Deccan, it's not. In Deccan, we have some tourist spots, but those are like temples and other things. We were having one sanctuary. Rather, we are having that sanctuary, Nanaj Bustard Sanctuary, but the main attraction of that sanctuary is no more there. Great Indian Bustard. There was a pack of wolf. It's not there. It was got the complete pack got vanished in electrocution. So why these things are getting missed? So to start with, that's why I'm here to present our study. The group of our people just Pratham introduced. We are a group of 8 people, and along with other team members who are working on this from last 8 to 10 years. So whatever I'm telling you, those are our observations, because we do not have any scientific background to, or we do not have published any papers. These all are just our observations. So whatever I'm claiming, that is based on my observations only. Okay. So what is grasslands, scrublands, and other things? Basically, the land which is dominated by grass is considered as grassland. Scrublands, same way, where there are shrubs, the plains are dominated by grassland, and small shrubs considered as scrublands. How they are formed? Now, if you see, this is the Indian map. North side considered as completely Himalayan range. Then comes the Thar Desert, basin of Gangas, Mahanadi, Narmada. Then below to that lies Deccan Plateau. The main 2 rivers of Deccan Plateau are Godavari and Krishna. Kaveri is also there, but basically most of the we can say as big river from this Deccan Plateau are Godavari and Krishna. Along with the edges, you see the another mountain range. Those are Western and Eastern Ghats. Now, whenever monsoon is visiting India, It's coming from either this side or this side. Because of this mountain range, the maximum rainfall lies here. And because of these mountains, this area comes under rain shadow region. Means the rainfall in this particular Deccan plateau is not that much which is expected. So this is rainfall declared by the. So if we see the Western Ghats, it's more than 2000 mm. This part is somewhat between 1000 to 2000 mm rainfall. Now this area, which is the Deccan Plateau, lies between below 600 or 600 to 1000. Because of such less rainfall, the soil in that area is not having that capacity to hold the black soil, or what we can call as the khet ki mitti, and it's a loose soil, because of which heavy trees can't sustain in that soil and causes some grass to grow in that area. This is how the land has been formed. Now each habitat is having some ecosystem. Like if we see in the tiger reserve, tiger is the apex predator, then comes leopard, then comes dhole, jackal, who are surviving on herbivores. So there is a food chain. Herbivores are dependent on grass, vegetables. So this is the complete food chain for tiger reserve. Same is the case with Thar desert. Also the grassland having one ecosystem in which wolf is the apex predator. Then comes chinkaras, blackbugs, black-nape hares, which are feeding on these shrubs, grasses. Now, these are plains which are providing birds a good habitat for their breeding nesting sites, like sandgrouse coursers. So what are the habitats available in this system? Each habitat is having bird, mammals, reptiles. So basically grassland, in the grassland we are having ground dwelling birds like quails, francolins, coursers, sandgrouses, larks, pipits. Few pipits are migratory in this region. Another thing is these grasslands are having small hills or some forts. So the slopes are forts working as a hilly slopes, which are providing good habitat for buntings, eagle owls, rock eagle owls, nightjars. There are raptors available in the grassland, so I have categorized them under the resident and migratory raptors. So what birds we can see in this grassland? The one of the most common bird and the we can say iconic species around Pune is renquel. हर साल बहुत लोग देखने आते ही है. It's a very common bird, songster from the monsoon. If you visit the grassland during monsoon, you can hear the call easily. Before the spotting bird, you can hear the call, and after following the call, it's very easy to spot the bird. White-bellied minivet. Another bird which is now breeding almost in every corner of this habitat. Used to be a rare one, but now it's one of the most common bird. Then comes the typical bird of the grassland, Indian courser. Striolated bunting. Now Pune is having good population of striolated bunting which are breeding in this region every year, and they are I can say from my observations that they are so caring, and whatever nest I have observed, all the chicks are full grown. Painted sandgrouse. The bird available throughout the India like Hampi, Tadoba, Ranthambore, Gujarat, GRK, LRK. Then comes the painted francolin, another resident bird of the Saswad scrubland. But yes, this is also one of the songster like renquel. The new star attraction from Pune is broadtail grassbird. The forts which are around Pune, like Sinhagad, Purandar, provided the best habitat for this bird. During monsoon, the grass in those regions is good habitat for this bird to breed. Each year, 3 to 4 pairs Pune people observing, and they are breeding successfully. Now, there are certain changes happen in the grassland. Most people from Mumbai also visited Pune for this bird. Now, because of the crop pattern changes, the migratory birds has found in most places around Pune during monsoon. Now, vernal hanging parrot is the bird which belongs to forest. But every year monsoon from last 3 4 years, they are visiting scrubland for these bajra fields. Along with vernal hanging parrots, we are able to see crested bunting. No doubt it's a scrubland bird. Rose finches, again a forest bird, but visiting grasslands. Plum-headed parakeets. Then Harial, yellow-footed green pigeon. So this is something different that is happening in the grassland. That forest species are getting easily seen in the scrublands. Then few birds are resident in the area like blackbird, Eurasian blackbird. Now there are some migratory birds which are easily seen around Pune, scrublands, Jacobean cuckoo, pied cuckoo. There are different harriers visiting each year. Pallid harrier, Montagu's harrier. There are certain resident birds as well, like redneck falcon, short-toed snake eagle, Eurasian sparrowhawk. Now, during the monsoon, what's happening? The termites or the small insects getting activated, getting September or August end, breeding starts, and those are out in the grassland throughout. Toads, grasshoppers. So these raptor visiting the grassland just for their easy food. Like forest species, forest eagle also visiting this habitat. If you have been to Waghapur, each monsoon a pair of black eagle is persistent in this area. Like black eagle, crested hawk eagle is also seen quite frequently in this area. Both of this image clicked by my friend Pratik. Along with birds, this habitat holds a good population of reptiles and amphibians as well. One of the star attraction during the summer is fan-throated lizard, which is now described in various forms. There are I think 6 subspecies that has been rediscovered or renamed. There are plenty of venomous and non-venomous snake like saw-scaled viper, normal Russell's vipers, cobra, crate, wall scents crate, which is a rare one. Few times you have seen cat snake in the scrubland, banded kukri. Plenty of monitor lizards are there, plenty of skinks are there, frogs are there, geckos are there. One good elusive thing from the frog family is the marbled balloon frog, which is breeding in the scrubland. Another thing is geckos. If you have been to Big One, you must see you must have heard about the fat tail gecko. Same gecko is available throughout all the hills around Pune's scrublands. These are the Sitanas, fan-throated lizards with 2 different forms. One is having colorful fan, another is having plain fan, white fan. Reptiles, saw-scaled viper, scorpion, chameleon. Most of the people have seen chameleon with green coloration, but in the scrubland, they have to blend with the nature. So the chameleon has changed like the rocks. Very few times we have seen chameleon in this morph. Now coming back to the main topic, mammals. So these are the things which we should care about. because these are the ignored things from the wildlife of India: wolf, hyena, jackal, fox, jungle cat, porcupine, chinkara, black buck. Now, if we see the complete list, hyena is available throughout the India, jackal is available throughout the India, jungle cat is available throughout the India. Also, these species getting the protection under tiger umbrella. All the tiger parks are having good population of hyena, jackal, jungle cat, porcupines. Chinkaras are available in some part of Rajasthan and Gujarat, but again in the grasslands. Black bucks are available in some part of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra. But main missing thing which needs big protection is wolf. So how to identify a wolf? What are the habits? What is the habitat required for the wolf? How they survive here? So let's discuss one by one. First, identification of wolf. जनरली लोग बोलते हैं कि यार वुल्फ है, कुत्ते से क्या अलग लग रहा है, ये और जैकल क्या है. सो बेसिकली वुल्फ एंड अडल्ट वुल्फ इज बिट बिगर देन डॉग. If we compare them, we are having further slides where you can see you can easily compare dogs and wolf. So wolves have long erected ears, their jaws are strong, broader snout, they are having white patches near the jaws. If you can see the pointer, they are having long hind legs. Then there are means, although it's not the subspecies, but because of less availability of water in Gujarat, Rajasthan, we can see wolf with not that much furry, or the tail is not that much furry. Whereas if you see wolf throughout the year in Maharashtra or Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, you will see good fur. Now here you can see the complete characteristics of wolf: long hind legs, strong jaws, broader snout, erected ears, fluffy tail. They are having black. Adult wolf shows generally a black strip on the back. It's not available in the image. If we see in further image, I'll point out. Another thing which is easily available in the grasslands around Pune or in the Maharashtra is hyena. Identification of hyena is very easy. Just the thing is they are nocturnal, so not easy to spot during the daytime. They are having stripes all over their body like tigers. Much furrier than wolves or any other dog species. Whenever they are alert, they will मीन्स ये पूरा फर जो है वो एकदम फुला देते हैं, which looks like a big animal altogether than their regular size. Jackal and fox, these are the common mammals available in the grassland. Now, how to differentiate between jackal and wolf and jackal and fox? So basically, wolf and jackal, the basic difference is their size. Wolf is a bit bigger than dog, or almost of the size of dog, whereas jackal is much smaller than dog. So from the image you can easily identify the difference. Jackal's snout is not that elongated or not that broad like wolf. They are having very short face. Same is the case with fox. Wolf ecology and behavior. Now, unlike tiger, wolf is a social animal. They are living in the pack. We must have heard the poem from the Jungle Book. Strength of the wolf is a pack, and strength of the pack is wolf. So whenever they are hunting, they have to follow some pack strategies like dhole doing. The pack structure. Now, what is the pack? So it's a group of some 5 to 6 or at least 2 individuals. There are basically as there are at least two individuals. One is alpha male, one is alpha female. Why they are alpha? Because they are the most dominating pair from the pack. There are certain strategies when they kill something. First, whatever happens in the lions, first the male comes, then he'll have his food. Once he's done, then females and other uh, from that pack will come and they'll have their share. Same thing applies in wolves as well. Whenever they kill something, to start with, alpha pair will eat first. They will dominate the other individuals on the kill, followed by other subadults or their offsprings, which are from 2-3 generations. If they are with pack, they will have their shares. So basically, alpha male and female usually breed every year. Other members from the pack do not breed. If they want to breed, they have to they have to separate from the pack. They have to find their other own territory, and they have to settle there. This is the basically law of the wolves throughout the world. Whether they are Canadian wolf, they are Ethiopian wolf, Arabian wolf, everywhere it's the same. That only alpha male and female will breed. Territory. Basically, territory of wolves depends on the availability of food and water. Now, there are certain individuals collared around Pune. Our team members from the trust were part of this activity. So, as per the observation, the territory around Pune is not that big. Whereas at the same time, the territory from the pack which is in Solapur is much bigger than pack that of the territory of the pack from Pune. So it's almost like 3 to 4 times bigger than the Pune's territory. So why this is? Because if whatever we have discussed with the people from Gujarat, Rajasthan who are working there with wolves, the thing is wolves are getting easily disturbed by the locals. Now in Pune, livestock killing by wolves is not to that extent as compared with Gujarat or Rajasthan or Solapur district wolves. They are killing livestock very frequently, because of which locals are troubling them. In the Pune, they have plenty of food sources along with natural food. Like population of Chinkara blackbuck is good around Pune scrublands. Pune scrubland is having good population of blackneck hares. One thing is available of poultry waste. The grassland around Pune having plenty of poultries available with almost say 2 or 3 kilometers, with the gap of almost 2 or 3 kilometers. So whatever during the climatic changes, whenever happens, the birds from that poultry gets do not used to that environment or temperature changes and easily get dead. And whenever these people are throwing the waste out of their poultry, they are having certain dumps where wolf, hyena, foxes, jungle cat, rusty spotted cat, jackals are coming very frequently to feed. Because of this easily available food, the territory of the wolf around Pune is not that huge. They are using limited space, and agriculture all over the fields provide them good availability of water. There are natural sources of water as well, of springs. Now, daining period and mating period usually starts from September, October. So September, October is basically the mating period. They start digging woods during October. Dainings start during October. Then the pups, the female usually stays near the pups during December. First 15 to 20 days, pups do not open their eyes. It's very much similar like dog. They are in the den for 15 to 20 days. After that, they start walking outside the den. Now, as per the availability of water, wolves shifts the den site. First during their during the delivery, the den may not be near the water hole because the pups not started yet suckling. So water requirement for the female is not that great. So she can easily go a bit far and have the water and come again with the to share the space with pups. Or growing, wolf shifts their den towards the water source. Whatever dens we have observed, almost 6 dens we are monitoring each year. So those dens after the pups are more than 2 months old, they are getting shifted towards the water sources. Just so that in the evening, female can take pups out in the open from the den and to have the water from the natural source. Also, female can easily go to the water source and can have water n number of times during the daytime. Any member from any adult will always be near the den, either the male or female, or if any of the subadult from the last litter who has not separated from the pack will always stay near the den, whereas other will go on the scout for the some kill or food, and they will bring the food for the member who is near the den. So we have got this data from the camera traps which we have observed. Survival of the pups basically depend on the availability of food and water. If the female is getting good amount of food, then then it's easier for the female or male to raise the pups. Again, these dens are a bit far from human locations, so that dogs cannot come near to the den. We have observed few times that the dog went very close to the den site when pups alerted the dog. When pups alerted adults, both adults charged the dog. In fact, one time hyena was very near to the den and the wolf attacked the hyena for the to save his pups. Once the pups start roaming around the area, first 6 to 7 months they will start roaming with their parents, male and female. After that, the pups started showing their dominance. It's very much like we see in the raptors that one chick is very dominant, whereas other chicks are not that. So let's say eagle owl or a dove, or a best example is quail from the cuckoo family. When the chick is out, it will throw other eggs out from the nest. In the same way, when these pups started showing their dominance, they will dominate other pups from the same litter for the food, and they will grow healthier. The weak pup always stay with the pack or adult male and female. This is what we have observed. Whereas strong pups always moved out of their territory. Whenever they are ready and whenever they are after August or September, they will start showing their dominance to the other member from their litter by aggressive fights or by aggression or just by roaming around them, circling around them. They have to find their territory to establish their dominance in the surrounding area. Now, whenever they are moving from their original habitat where they are born and they are roaming or they are forming another territory, they are getting in conflict with humans. But during the monsoon, when they are getting older or when their mother and father raising them, they are coming much closer to humans, like dhangars. Another aspect of the grassland is dhangar, which is much important in the grassland because dhangars are having sheep, goats, and there is some formula applied to the grasslands, like this part is available for their for the shipping in the area for this monsoon, and next year they have to take their ship to different areas so that the grass will grow in a cycle. In this way, dhangars and their sheep also maintaining the habitat properly. And when wolves are not getting the food, they are killing the livestock. But there are some misconceptions about that will we will come later in this session. So human animal relation around Pune region is not that complicated. Here wolves are living very close to Dhangars. In fact, there was one day when we went to Dhangarwada and we just asked them, "Have you seen the wolf in recently?" They said, "No, there are no wolves here from last almost 2-3 months." And in the evening when we came there again and just scanned the area, the wolf was sitting next to that Dhangarwada, only 200 meters away. So they are so much camouflage in the habitat there. It's not that easy to spot the wolves. If the dog is not aware, no one can spot the wolf from the Dhangar family. So human-animal relation around Pune is not that complicated, whereas wolves who are killing livestock constantly around Solapur, Usmanabad, Bid, Nasik, Dhule, Jalgaon area, those are facing a lot of problems. Same is the case with Gujarat and Rajasthan. So when we discussed with few people who are working in that area, like Nirav Bhatt, Yogendra Shah from Gujarat, Dharmendra Khandal sir from Rajasthan, then we come to know that the first kill was, if the first kill was at X place tonight, then the wolf pack was seen 60 kilometers away on the next day. So they are traveling so much of distance cases and disturbance by humans. Now, what are the threats to these wolves? So basically, main problem is habitat loss. Each year, the city expansion is happening so widely to every corner that the habitat is getting totally disturbed. We are getting much closer. We are attacking in their habitat. In the image, you can see the wolf pack with cityscape. This is the Saswad landscape. Most of the people have seen this place. This is factory spot. Many of you know. This is the main building from Saswad, which you can easily see. Those who are visiting this habitat for white-bellied minuet or striated bunting must have seen this building as well. Day by day, we are going very much closer to them. And now we are saying that wolves हमारे यहाँ पे दिख रहे. It's not like that wolves are यहाँ पे आ गए और यहाँ पे आ गए. We have went to their habitat. हमने वहाँ पे पूरा उनके habitat में कब्जा किया है. We are dominating that landscape now. They were there only. They are there only. But because of us, now they have to shift. Another same kind of problem is development in the area, plotting in the area. Whatever scrublands you guys have seen, those who have seen Vaghapur 4 to 5 years back can easily imagine this picture, because 4 or 5 years back, this area was complete grassland, but now the plotting schemes have totally changed the habitat. Another problem that has happened with the habitat is plantation by forest department, because of which the grass is increasing unexpectedly, turn out bad for the ground dwelling birds like coursers, sandgrouse. They have to migrate locally because the habitat which was nesting ground for coursers and sandgrouse is no more remains same. It turned out like this: drenching, Now they can't lay eggs in this area because the grass, increased grass, water harvesting. Then because of this, the plants are growing and totally disturbing the total ecosystem. Now these trenches are providing one good cover for wolves. So whenever they are not getting any natural food, they are using these trenches as hides. And this is the situation at Factory Spot. If you visit this today as well, you will see all these trenches. 3 years back, what happened? This pack was having size of 10 wolves in this area were roaming. Most of the Pune or Mumbai people have seen this. Shailesh, as far as I remember, Shailesh, who is Santosh Gulavani have visited this place for the to see the wolves. Because of these trenches, what happened? The natural prey, that is Chinkara blackneck hares, moved away from this area. Now, wolves use these trenches as hide, and whenever the shepherds came here, they attacked their sheep, and the livestock killing increased that time, which created a problem for this shepherd community, Dhangars, and they have poisoned one kill, and out of that 10 wolves, 7 died that year. Only 3 remained. One wolf, we are not aware where that went, but the alpha male died. Alpha female is still there. She is now breeding with her own kid, which is now the alpha male of that pack. But because of this total disturbance, they have moved somewhere around 5 to 6 kilometers away, which used to be the territory of the pack from Wagapur area, Dola Futka male. Again, Shailesh, Santosh, those are from Mumbai, have seen that pack as well. But now these wolves are using their territory, and after when these wolves moved to that area, the Dola Futka pack moved away from that area. So day by day, they are shifting from this landscape. Another case is the, like we discussed, poisoning. So whenever they are killing livestock, or whenever they are eating the poultry waste, there are poultry waste consist of some steroids. So they are now used to these steroids and surviving now, but we can't claim, because there is no scientific study has been done on the poultry waste and the content of that poultry waste, whether they are harmful for wolf, hyena, foxes, or their wolves, hyenas are adapted with that food. But there was case at factory happened that the fox ate the poultry waste and died after 3 hours. Same is the case happened twice with wolf, and once we found this wolf was dead because of the poisoning happened with livestock kill. Same, this is the poultry waste. This is because of the poultry waste. The new challenge that we are facing is dogs problem. Now this dog problem is everywhere in India, whether it's a tiger park, or whether it's Kevladev Ghana Sanctuary, or whether it's Tal Chapar, Velavadar. We are facing dogs everywhere. Now you can compare wolf and dogs, like I said in the previous. Here, the wolves and dogs. This is adult male of this pack, the centered one. This is the offspring, the subadult one, almost 8 to 9 months old. There was a cow carcass, and on this cow carcass, there were 5 wolves were feeding, and these 2 dogs were every day chasing away these 5 wolves. Now, if you see, a single dog is troubling 2 wolves. So now, with the humans around, dogs are getting like, अरे हमारे पास तो आदमी है, तो अब ये wolf हमें कुछ करेगा नहीं. So they are getting courageous and they are attacking dogs like anything. And with pack of 6, wolves can't do because they are scared of dog as well as humans. So they are just running away from one hill to another hill, one farm to another farm, one plateau to another plateau. Now, when we put a camera trap on cow carcass, so we have got few observations. So around 8 p.m., the adult male from pack visited the cow carcass. Almost after 3 hours, hyena came there for the scavenging. Also, wolves also scavenging in the scrublands. Eating poultry waste is nothing but scavenging. They are killing as well as scavenging. So hyena visited this area around 11 p.m. In the morning, wolf pair brought their pups for the feeding. So around this image was captured around 7 a.m. You can easily see the wolf pup. Once their feeding done, the alpha pair took them to their den site and again came there to feed for themselves. So here you can see this alpha male. This is the Dola Futka male of the Wagapur area, which is no more there. In the left corner of this image, you can see the female legs and some part of chest, ears. They were feeding, but whatever images we have seen, they were disturbed and they were totally looking at something. But when we saw the next image, there were dogs. And dogs came there and almost for next 3 days, dogs were there and chased every single animal from that area. They have killed the fox who came on this carcass during night. So by this way, the dogs are troubling wolves. These are some, we can say, man-made threats like habitat destruction, feral stray dogs. Now, what is feral and stray dog? So let's say there are certain dogs in your city. So what corporation is doing? They are collecting them. They are putting them in the cage and just throwing out away from the city in the scrubland. Now, these dogs know what the city life is. They know chapati khani hai, कुछ ये खाना है वो खाना है ह्यूमन मेड फूड खाना है but when they are mating in the scrubland and giving birth to newborns, those new pups don't know what is city life, what is chapati, what is bhakri, जो कभी उन्होंने खाया ही नहीं है. So they are considering this habitat as their home, and this food, whatever their parents are eating, like chinkara and other things, is the proper natural food for them. So they don't know कि कहीं पे गांव में जाओ और वहां पे जो मिलेगा वो खाओ. No, they know this is चिंकारा, ये चिंकारा है, इसको हमें खाना है, इसको मारेंगे तो खाना मिलेगा. I think Dhritiman had shared the complete video. Let me check the link if it is available. If it is available, he was with us for to see the wolves. And when we were seeing a chinkara running away, we thought, "Arey, wolf chase कर रहा है, देखो इसको देखते रहो." But it turned out a dog. The dog chased the chinkara for almost 25 to 30 minutes, and after that, the dog killed it. This has happened with one of the person from Mumbai, Shailesh Ravalnath Joshi, who has witnessed, who was the eyewitness of this event. But there is one big problem for wolves, which is one natural problem: leopard. Day by day, the leopards population in India is increasing. We can in Mumbai, you can see the leopard, plenty of leopard images or camera trap images from that SGNP, where leopards are coming to the societies, killing dogs, some boars. The documentary also Planet Earth also showed it in proper way. In the same way, things happening around Nasik, but there they are using sugarcane farms as a good cover for them to hide, to breed. Because sugarcane farms are giving total protection for them, because until you cut the total farm, nothing, no one can enter the farm. Only you can water it, and they are getting proper habitat, or they are adapted to that habitat where they can easily sustain. But now what we are seeing in the grassland is the addition of one uncommon visitor, rather intruder, leopard. Why this happened, how this happened, and when this happened? We are the development of some of the schemes like LPG connection or other things have created some problem. Sorry. So what has actually happened? The local people who are cutting the firewood from the scrubland, shrubs, babhari, babu tree, and all those trees, keeping the scrubland intact or grassland plains intact. But because of this increasing LPG connection, they have stopped cutting these trees or cutting the bushes. The growth of these bushes created problem for wolves, because once they started growing, it has totally created turned the plains into the thorny forest. So wherever the wolves were moving in the open lands, now they are moving under cover. But because of this problem, what has happened? First of all, birds, which were coarser sandgrouse, now they are not getting proper land to lay their eggs, because the total area is grassy. They are not getting rocky patches to lay their eggs, so they have locally migrated. Addition of this corridor, addition of this, growth of these trees provided good habitat for another herbivores like barking deer, chausinga, which used to be a rare sight in the grassland. Now they are commonly seen. For leopards, this has provided a sustainable habitat, and from the Purandar corridor, which is very close to it, and Sinhagad Fort, almost 20 or 25 kilometers aerial distance, probably leopard came in this habitat from there. Now this is just our observation. We are just saying कि यहाँ से आए हो सकते हैं. We are not sure from where this leopard came and settled in this habitat, but there are good chances, as the Kaladari area, Purandar area is a good habitat for leopard. It's a forest land, and with the cover of the farms, leopard must have entered in the habitat. Now, what are the impact? Changes in grassland ecosystem because of leopard. First of all, changes in herbivores. It initially used to be only chinkara and some part of in some part blackbucks only, but now chausinga added, barking deers added. Now along with chinkara, we can easily see chausinga. Now if you guys have visited the vernal hanging parrots farms, then there is a small ghat you will see after Saswad. Before that ghat, if you observe the scrubland properly, try observing those scrubland properly, you may get to see chausinga easily. Impact on ground dwelling bird. This is just this is we discussed just now. Because of this, what happened? Introduction of leopard in this land made wolves migrate from their own habitat, because wolves used to be the apex predator of the grassland. Now they are getting dominated by leopard, and leopards are now trying to establish their dominance and trying to be the apex predator of these Pune or Saswad scrublands. As wolves moved away from this habitat, population of jackal increased tremendously, because leopards are active during night. You have seen around, or you have heard news from Mumbai also ki they are getting active during night only, but during daytime there are no wolves available in the land. So which jackals, which used to be the sightings used to be only one or twice during the 6 months or during year, now turned out like almost every alternate outing we are seeing jackals, and they are very bold. They are coming very close to humans or vehicles. We'll have that video. I'll show you that video last in the last. So another impact of this jackal population, what has happened when there is a wolf, you can easily spot foxes in the same habitat. The wolves and foxes dens are not that far, whatever we have observed during daying time. But as soon as jackal came there, we don't even see foxes as well. They are also shifted from that land. So impact is grassland impacted because of herbivores. Ground dwelling birds moved from that area. Wolves moved that area, and wolves now using whatever the hilly regions they were using. If you're seeing the hills around Pune, those are like some hills, then come just on the around the hill, you will see some agricultural land. Now wolves from that hills shifted towards this agricultural land, and population of jackal on the hills increased because of leopards. Prathamesh? Hello?
Yeah, Sid, tell me.
I have just got annotation request. Sumay is requesting.
You can just reject it. Reject it.
Okay. So the hill slopes are now getting dominated by leopards. Here you can see 3 leopards in the scrubland. This is not forest. Now, as soon as they have started dominating and they are not getting any competitor, they have started entering in the scrubland during daytime as well. Because of this plantation done by the forest department, which you can see in the background, in Marathi, I think Glerisedia or something you can say, because I'm not a plant expert. So because of this, they have started entering in the scrublands, and now they are roaming there during daytime. Here I have provided one link. This is the link from the Grassland India, our trust, the Grassland India, the Grassland Trust. Here the video, Prathamesh will share this link with you separately. In this video, you can see there was one cow carcass, and from this, on this cow carcass, we have just set up a camera trap, and we have observed the activity of mammals during night. So first, mammals visited this carcass were jackals, 3 jackals. Then there come leopard, single leopard. Then there came hyena for some time. And after that, there came 3 leopards, a mother with 2 adult cubs. After that, nothing. 3 leopard आ गए तो कोई आएगा ही नहीं. So in the protected area, which consists of hills, almost all hills from the Saswad region comes under the protected area of forest departments, are now getting dominated by leopards, and wolves have moved from this area. The competition for food has increased a lot. Whatever wolves were eating, that is chinkara, blackbuck, hares, poultry waste, now leopards are doing the same thing. Here leopards are also eating poultry waste. They are feeding on poultry waste. Because of movement of wolves from hilly region to agricultural land, there are good chances of human-animal conflict which may arise in future. Only time can tell us what is going to happen, because these changes we are observing in last 2 years, and now those agricultural farms also getting dominated by leopard during nights. So overall impact of leopard in the scrubland is increasing in the thorny forest, which resulted in sighting of forest bird species like blackbird is a common bird nowadays. During monsoon, local migration happening with vernal hanging parrot, rose finches. Then one good birder from Pune, Swapnil Thatte, has recorded yellow-eyed, yellow-footed green pigeon during the winter in scrublands. The population of Chausinga increased in the habitats. Now, rusty spotted cat is one thing which is very interesting for scrubland. The Ghaipat plantation, which is used by wolves. If you see the factory area, there is a big Ghaipat plantation. The area which used by or dominated by wolves is now good shelter for rusty spotted cats. Again, rusty spotted cat is a woodland species. Very few places where rusty spotted cats have been seen around the scrublands. If there are records from Dhong forest, or there is a good population around Dhong forest as well. But that is again kind of thorny patches available. But in scrublands, we are getting to see rusty spotted cats very easily. This year, we saw a pair. The female was pregnant, and we have observed that pair for quite a long time. Each year, black eagle pair is visiting scrublands. The famous Wagapur spot where everyone is seeing white-bellied minuet, striolated buntings, where you are seeing striolated buntings. The same gorge is getting dominated by black eagle during monsoon, and they are giving tough fight to Bonelli's eagle, which is the resident raptor. Short-toed snake eagle is migrating a bit from that area because of these black eagles. Crested hawk eagle is very common nowadays around scrublands. If you visit Dive Ghat or Wagapur area. In fact, 2 years back, we saw we were shooting painted sandgrouse in Mayureshwar, and those were just flew away from us. And we were shocked कि इनको क्या हो गया, ये उड़ क्यों गए? हम तो गाड़ी में बैठे, कुछ नहीं, सब सेटल था. And when we saw, there was a adult crested hawk eagle sitting next to us on a small tree in the Mayureshwar sanctuary. So this is the overall impact happening because of leopard or plantation or trenching. Only future can tell us what is the future for these grasslands. So there are some pug marks I've added. The first and second is a hyena pug mark. Now, dog family pug marks are not that easy to identify. So always keep an object along with it. Usually, whenever wolf, fox, jackal walk, the thumb impression or along with digit, we see the prints or the dots created because of their nails, which is missing in the dogs. Also, the size of wolf pug mark and dog pug mark is totally different. Dog pug mark is like floral design, whereas last one is the wolf pug mark. You can easily see that, and the size will be definitely bigger than that of a dog. So basically, how to conserve this? What we can do to conserve this? So during our 10 or 12 years of study, what we have seen is if we want to conserve this habitat, we have to follow the park is following. If we take example of Tadoba, there are certain guides, drivers, hotels, people working in the hotels. So the total village or the villages around that area are getting survived because of tourism in that park. Same is the case with Kanha, Corbett, Bandhavgarh. So now those people know कि अगर यहाँ पे टाइगर बचता है तो ही लोग देखने आएंगे, और अगर लोग यहाँ पे टाइगर देखने आएंगे तो ही हम सरवाइव कर पाएंगे. If the same theory can be applied to grassland, अगर यहाँ पे वुल्फ दिखता है तो ही लोग वुल्फ को देखने आएंगे, और वुल्फ अगर हम दिखाएंगे तो ही हम बच पाएंगे, सरवाइव कर पाएंगे. Because scrublands providing in the scrubland farming is not that easy because of the less availability of water. the soil is not that proper. जो मुरुम हम कहते हैं, मुरुम, I don't know the English name for this, but after 2-3 feet you will get only loose soil which can't hold water, and they are adapting, like they are taking some they are doing farming like Shevanti, then some fruits, that kind of farming. But proper farming is not possible in this land. So they do not have proper farming technologies, or they do not have the proper land where they can farm like crops, or they is not that sustainable. So if the community conservation can work in this habitat, they will definitely get some income from this, because the wolf population, hyena population is tremendous in this area. Till now we have monitored more than 10 packs around Pune. So the wolf population, hyena, fox, jackals, and now leopard population is good in this area, which can easily provide them bread and butter throughout the year. Habitat protection. Now I have provided the link which you can later visit to this website. Prathamesh will provide you this link separately in the description. You can see this page. Please follow and like this page for the latest update around the grasslands. So habitat protection is one important factor. Like whatever I have told you throughout the session, trenching is one big problem. Firewood cutting has turned out difficult for the grasslands. Now there are few patches which got disturbed because of this firewood cutting stopped in this area. There are some there is big required thing, that is awareness and misconceptions. Now what awareness is required is like local people are worried about wolf and hyena. Whenever they see hyena, 70% people from the villages don't know what hyena is. They are considering it as a tiger. So they have a theory like hyena हमारे यहाँ पे रात को आता है, कुत्ता पकड़ता है, पीठ पे डालता है, उसकी पीठ पे कांटे होते हैं जिसमें कुत्ता फंस जाता है, and it will take away the dog. इस तरीके से हाइना हमारे यहाँ पे आके और शेर हमारे यहाँ पे आके परेशान करता है. Second thing is that these people consider the very common phenomenon, like whenever the monsoon overs, the shepherd from which visited this area moved away to some other area for their sheep and goats, so that they will get easily accessible water and some grass so that their flock can survive. But the misconcept is that everyone is saying the same thing, that जैसे जैसे शेफर्ड मूव होंगे उनके पीछे पीछे वुल्फ भी वहां पे चले जाएंगे. तो यहाँ पे आपको वुल्फ नहीं मिलते हैं. एंड but wolves are always there. And during winter, just because the total habitat turned out to be yellow and a brown turned out in the brown shades, we cannot easily spot the wolf, which is very easy to spot in the monsoon because of the greenery. Now, if the wolf is sitting in the yellow grass or in the rocky patches, you can't even spot it, or you can't even say कि यहाँ पे wolf बैठा है if you are 10 or 15 feet away from it. Just because of this thing, these people think that wolves तो चले गए. And this time wolves are digging their dens and giving birth to pups. But the local community consider it as a porcupine den, and some local poachers or other people consider it as a porcupine ka den hai. They are local poachers, here popularly known as Vaidu. They are just burning those den and killing the pups are getting killed because of this. Again, the same video for this is available on the Grassland Trust page. You can check out all the videos there. Again, there are some misconceptions like wolf इतना मारेगा तो हमारा बकरी मर जाता है. But one good thing these Dhangar people are doing is that they think wolf is a god. If wolf don't kill the wolf pack, don't kill their sheep, then there will the disease will come in their flock and plenty of sheep will die. So what they are doing, if कोई अगर एक शेफर्ड है जिसका पूरा फ्लॉक है जिसमें से उसने वुल्फ ने कोई किल नहीं किया है, what shepherd will do, he will keep 2-3 sheep away from the pack and keep it in the grassland. He'll don't take those back to the along with the flock. He'll say नहीं ये मैं वुल्फ के लिए रख रहा हूँ, वुल्फ ने इनको खाना चाहिए वरना मेरा फ्लॉक मर जाएगा. So we were shocked कि why they are claiming like that, why they are keeping the sheep for wolves and why they are not worried. When we saw a wolf hunting sheep, what has happened when the dogs started barking, sheep got to know, the person got to know, yes, wolf आ गया है, सारे sheep भागने लग गए, goats भागने लग गए. The ones which were diseased or not strong or weak left behind, and wolves got those sheep. So the weak ones or diseased ones, wolves are getting killed. Those getting killed easily by wolves. And अगर diseased sheep ही मर जाता है तो पूरा strong sheep का pack intact रहता है. That was the actual reason we got to know. Another good thing happening around is whenever a wolf killing the livestock, forest department actively paying the compensation for the particular sheep or a goat or a small cow like that. So those are happening from the forest department, which is again good thing. If not happening, these people are calling us and we are informing forest department कि यहाँ पे ऐसा हुआ है, to avoid conflict. Just ये initiate this thing so that those people will not trouble wolf. Dog problem is which things simple and steady for the grassland. So that's all from my side. Let me show you one video. So what I'll do, I'm aware that there would be some lag, so I will pause the video in between.
Seth, what you can do is when you can stop screen sharing. I'll tell you what to do. Just stop screen sharing. I'll guide you what to do exactly.
Okay.
There is a way of how you can share a video also, so it won't lag much.
अरे हे स्क्रीन शेअरिंग कसं स्टॉप करायचं?
It must be there on the top.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. Now, if you again go on the share content thing, you will see something on the top called as optimize for text and image. And then there is optimize for motion and video.
Share content.
When you click on that, it will show you on the top, there is this drop down list which says optimize
for motion and video.
Yeah, if you click on that, and then you can select a screen that you want. So this way your video won't lag.
Is it visible?
No, it's just about to start. It's loading.
I'm just pausing it.
Yeah.
Is it the screen visible now?
No, it's still black. Pratik, can you see, or is it just me that I'm able to see it black?
No, it's still blank.
Still black?
Like black, something is shareable, but then black is black.
Okay. So do you want to try again once again?
Just a minute. jackals were always here. Now you can see the road where I put the camera trap. There is a vehicle near to it. I am in the vehicle. Is it playing properly?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Hyenas are not at all disturbed because of leopard. They were here, they are here, and they will be here. I just have paused the video. This used to be the scape, or this used to be the landscape where there are no trenches, proper plain grassland, no plantation. In the same habitat, wolves used to roam freely everywhere. But as the firewood cutting stopped, these shrubs started growing. Now you can compare the size of these shrubs. Now, because of these trenches, the Ghaipath plantation, this plantation is Ghaipath, increased because the trenches, the water capacity of that soil increased, and this Ghaipath plantation is now giving ample cover and another good habitat for the rusty spotted cats to hide. In fact, if you visit the grassland page, you will see the rusty spotted cats. It's the smallest of all cats, and they are moving from these leaves of these Ghaipath plants. They are moving from one leaf to another leaf. Now the plantation and the overgrowth of bushes, you can easily notice it's the same pack, same wolves. Now this habitat made sustainable for leopards. So wolves move towards the agricultural land. But again, leopards started coming to agricultural land as well. And now they are settled and breeding. These are some of the images from wolf collaring activity. This activity done by Wildlife Institute of India. We were just part of this activity because we were aware about the movements, the tracks wolves are following. There is some work going on with this activity. I'm not allowed to speak much about that activity. So this has happened in the Pune scrublands, and many wolves individuals are collared and monitored for a different study which is currently going on. So that's all from my side. Let's start with questions answers.
Thanks, sir.